So we're both doing November, right? Movember. However you say it, we're gonna be bad at it. When do we start? We're already on day 3. Oh, God. Hi, kids! Victorious puppies! This team is ruining my life. Why do I watch hockey? Stress relief! Okay. We can, and we will. Victory puppies, boys! Gritty who? Iggy, there's one. It's been over a week, and in that time you ate my last biscotti off the table. I don't even know if you deserve this. All right, fine, Charlie, I love you. Oh, I missed you! Come back! Say something nice about Philadelphia. Oh, he doesn't want to. Leafs tie, and then they win in the shootout. What was it? 4-3 over the Philadelphia Flyers. The Leafs win for the first time in over a week. They actually haven't been playing 3 back-to-backs in a week for the first time, so it's been a while. And I want to start with a tweet that I tweeted last night that I have slept on and thought about. Yeah, this team looks bad. The Leafs have maybe their best start of the season against a team that's looked as flat as any they've faced so far. Penalty trouble, goal, more trouble, another goal, battle back, open the third soft. They just don't look like a good hockey team, man. And I had a few people say, oh, negative. Well, I can't lie. So on the pessimistic side, I'm like, okay, they didn't look good at all, and they somehow managed to squeak 2 points out. The optimistic side of me says, well, they didn't look good, and they still managed to squeak 2 points out. They found a way to win. The pessimist in me says, yeah, but that wasn't one random game where they looked bad. They've looked bad for a while now. The optimist says, yeah, but they got a bunch of injuries, and guys are coming back real soon. Don't worry about it. It's early. And the pessimist in me says it's not the absence of the players that are injured, it's the presence of the guys who aren't and how bad they look. And the optimist in me says, well, they'll look much better when the injured players are back. And the pessimist in me says, yeah, well, every team has injuries. And the optimist in me says, yeah, well, whether those teams win or lose, they don't really look as good. The Philadelphia Flyers were on the second half of a back-to-back in this one, and even though they had home ice advantage, it was Frederik Andersen against Brian Elliott. That game should be over at puck drop. Flyers fans, I'm not trying to insult you. I mean, the Flyers don't really look like a good team this year, but the way the Leafs are on paper, oh, that's a gimme. Okay, if we're actually doing this and we're looking at the schedule and we're looking at back-to-backs, for example, and we're going, okay, you gotta win the first one and hopefully you win the second one, but you're not sure. So you are looking at the schedule and going, okay, we expect to get points these games, and these other games we're not as confident. You've had several days rest. You're going up against a tired squad. They're using a shaky goalie in net. You have to win that game. Hyman, Tavares, Muzzin. Okay, well, no amount of complaining is bringing them back in the lineup. The optimist in me says, yeah, well, they're missing an $11 million center. And the pessimist in me says, yeah, they got another one. The pessimist in me says they took another penalty in overtime. The optimist in me says, yeah, well, at least they killed it. The pessimist in me says, it was the only one that they did kill. And the optimist in me said, yeah, well, they did. The optimist in me says that was one of their best starts of the season. The pessimist in me says, from the second period onward, look at this nonsense. Outshot 27-12 in the second and third periods combined, and 35-14 from the second period onward against a tired team? Are you alright? And the optimist in me says, yeah, well, they won. I don't care who's in the lineup on Tuesday. It sounds like Muzzin's coming back to face his former team, the LA Kings. I hope he does, because the Leafs on home ice against a team like the Kings, to quote Drew Doughty, you have to win that. You have to. So, where does that leave us with this game? It was, like so many things to do with the Toronto Maple Leafs, confusing. Really confusing. To start the game, I can't tell if the Leafs were just really good or if the Flyers were horrible. The first goal was Kasperi Kapanen from Morgan Rielly and Jason Spezza. Extremely generous assist to Jason Spezza. Rielly lobs the puck into the air, just a Hail Mary to Kapanen. Pretty standard play. Hits one of the Flyers in the chest, he fumbles it, Kapanen takes it. Sanheim, that's embarrassing. Kapanen streaks in on Elliott, scores. That should be the entire night. The entire night should be the Leafs use their speed, they blow by the Flyers defense, and Brian Elliott's the only thing stopping them from scoring. They should win this game. Shots were like 5 or 6-1 when that goal went in, and it didn't end much better for the Flyers at 12-5 for the whole first. But of course, with about 5 minutes to go, too many men on the ice. It counts as 2 minutes for Jason Spezza, but it's a bench minor. I want to say Kapanen was the one in the box. He was the one who touched the puck, but I'm watching that line change like, get off! incredibly slow line change. The Leafs have been doing this for years. They've been taking way too many bench minors for years. You cannot complain about your team taking too many penalties if you don't sort out your own bench. And because the hockey gods are just dicks, just the worst. So early in the power play, the Flyers take a lazy shot on net. It takes 14 bounces and beats Freddie. And the Leafs get this telltale, oh. And with the exception of a few players, the game's a write-off the rest of the whole night. Another power play for the Flyers in the second period, and just look at this. It's an unholy mess. Like, Mitch Marner has got to be stronger on Claude Giroux there. If he is, Giroux does not have a clear path to the net, although that being said, Cody, where are you going? Giroux scores his third of the year, barely even celebrates because he feels bad. Towards the end of the second, Babcock sends the actually trying line out. Kapanen, Kozenhel, Mikheyev, and Spezza banging away at it. Spezza actually gets it, and the funniest part of this goal was Justin Hall shooting the puck like multiple times 5 seconds after the puck went in. It's not the most glorious way to score your first goal as a Toronto Maple Leaf, but Jason Spezza finally getting on the board. My goodness, this guy and the season he's had so far, so good for him, and the game is tied at 2s. Okay, you've played like garbage for a full period, and you come out of it with a tie game. Does that sound familiar, Flyers fans? All right, let's get her done in the third. Opening minute of the third. Sanheim just... Opening 30 seconds of the third. Travis Sanheim breezes by Willie like a silent fart. Just drives the net. Freddie's down. He has an opportunity for his own rebound and the easiest goal of his NHL career. And you know what? A lot of people made very legitimate points about this. Because Willie ended up getting benched a few moments during the third period in a game where the Leafs were down a goal. And Timashov was getting a spot on that line and things like that. And people are going, oh my god, well Cody Ceci makes mistakes every game and you don't see him getting benched. And Marner, taking the penalties in overtime, you don't see him getting benched. You don't see other guys being held accountable the way that Willie is. What I would say in criticism of benching William Nylander is, do you really think that's going to get his attention? Okay, he's been in the NHL since 2016, and I'm just not sure that message is going to sink in. This isn't a rookie, this isn't a sophomore, this is a guy who either knows better or he doesn't, and I guess he doesn't. And you say, well, he's been arguably the Leafs' best forward so far this season, or there have been many nights where you go, wow, Willie is the Leafs' best forward, or one of the top 3, at least top 5. And I go, yeah, but he deserves to get benched after that. What was that? Seriously, what was that? We've been talking about this team's lack of grittiness and toughness or whatever. That doesn't always mean punching somebody in the face. It means giving a general damn. It has been said often of William Nylander that his game seems effortless. He does things with ease, and sometimes that makes him seem lazy. I 100% believe that. This was lazy! 100%! Not even just him. Austin Matthews getting knocked to the ice during this play, net front battle. If he wins it, who knows, maybe that rebound's not even there. Like, part of the reason I think so many fans are calling for more toughness and grit with this team is just they don't look like they care. They don't. And if those players were to hear that, they'd probably be like, oh, well, I'm insulted. And I'm watching the game like, this is insulting. And what I worry about is getting Muzzin and Hyman and Tavares back. Yes, okay, that makes the team better on paper, for sure. Is it going to make everyone who's currently in the lineup care more? Like, oh yeah, this guy's out and Marty Marinchin's in the top 4. What does Marty Marinchin have to do with any given forward's effort? Like, this is different from Mitch Marner and Cody Ceci having a miscommunication on the penalty kill. This is actually trying. And credit where credit's due, we've criticized the guy so much this season, and he did criticizable things during this game. Mitch Marner putting the team on his back. What did I say? Flying through the Flyers zone. If you come at them with speed, they have no answer for it. Doing a wraparound because it's Brian Elliott, no offense, and it's a goal. 3-3 tied game. It was a 4-on-4. There's more space out there. Marner takes advantage of the situation, and Philly, on a weird line change, as he pointed out, scores. Awesome. And that was about 5 minutes into the third, and the Leafs had 3 shots after that before overtime. Including overtime, they had 5. They had more than twice as many shots in the bloody shootout. I know the stats haven't been kind to Freddie to start this season, but it's November, and he won him one tonight. They survive. They get to overtime. Leafs take another penalty. They luckily kill it. The Flyers take a penalty with 0.2 seconds left, and we yell and scream about how there should be a rule where if you take a penalty with like less than 10 seconds to go, it should be a penalty shot, or you shouldn't get a shooter in the shootout or something, and it's a completely moot point because the Leafs took another too many men on the ice call at the same time. You were shocking! It goes to the shootout. It's the actual worst. On the Leafs' first shot, Matthews tries the Kucherov no move. It does not work. The Leafs' fifth shooter, Dmytro Timashov, tried the same thing, and I literally lunged at my television. I know it's Brian Elliott, and I know Timashov pulled it off in the minors, but you have to be kidding me. 47 shooters later, Travis Konechny scores, and I'm like, just end it. Very next shooter, with the game on the line, Jason Spezza dangles Brian Elliott's jock off, and I'm like, actually the shootout's good again. Shooter number 19 was James Van Riemsdyk, and I'm like, how is JVR shooting this late? Oh, because we know what he's gonna do, and he's gonna try to backhand shelf it, and yes, Freddie read it, and no, he didn't even get it up, and it stopped, and oh my god, I just feel bad. Riley post! Provorov stopped! Someone stop this! And Andreas Johnsson, Yanni, you beautiful man, picks up 2 points for the Leafs. That is as big a win as the Leafs have had this season, because my god, did they not deserve it. But I suppose with Tavares and Muzzin and Hyman out of the way, there's no style points, right? Just points on the board, points in the standings. Get them, got them, good. Now let me get to questions, which I did not do before. Can we finally celebrate? Yes. Yes, you can celebrate. When the Leafs win, you can celebrate. You don't gotta sugarcoat it and be like, they look great. They didn't, but they won. I don't care. They won. Looking at the minutia and looking at individual performances, I'm sorry, I don't need to be all sunshine and rainbows about this team right now until they give me a reason to. But there is no Matthews, there is no Nylander, there is only this jersey, this crest, and that crest won the game last night. If you cheer for the team that wears it, I think you're allowed to celebrate. Do you think Hainsey and Marleau had a significant effect on group leadership as veterans that is now missing? I am so at a loss with this team, okay, it was time to get rid of Marleau. It was time to get rid of Hainsey. Okay, I agree with that. I have said that I think we're done here with the coach, and I do think it is the coach's job to get the most he can out of this team, and I don't think Babcock has done that. That being said, I don't think there's ever been a practice where Mike Babcock has gone, you know what, don't defend at all. When the guy is charging, just sort of lazily wave your stick at him. And it's also interesting because the Leafs finally get a captain, and then he almost immediately gets injured and isn't allowed to do his captainly duties, I guess. But when JT returns as captain, I want to see that this team has been kicked in the ass. I want them to look like they care. That loss to Washington was super frustrating, but at the end of the day, it was a tight game between two good-looking teams, in my opinion. And even though they lost, I thought for the most part, they could be proud of the effort, for the most part. This team almost looked like two teams desperately trying to give the other points, and the shootout almost drove that point home more. And Trevor Moore looks plenty motivated. Ilya Mikheyev looks motivated. Morgan Riley looks so motivated, even though he gets burned on a few plays every now and then. Kasperi Kapanen has been fantastic since the demotion. He looks motivated. Get motivated. That's at least the second game so far this season where Babcock has made an effort to get Matthews on the ice more, and it was difficult with 6 power plays for the other team. And zeros. But they won. They won. They won. Last but not least, shout out for the kids? Yes, Jesse, absolutely. Kaylin and Emily Monroe. And on top of them, so many other people. Thank you to everyone who came out to the event at Scotiabank Theatre last night, who watched on the stream, who donated. We did a lot of good. You did a lot of good. All I did was play video games. You guys actually contributed the money. We don't have the exact numbers yet, but auctions at the actual event, just selling off games against me and against Adam and against Jesse, and between bid items, I believe the number is we raised about $5,000. Donations to the team page, I think were, well, at least my own page was nearly $12,000, and I know Adam and Jesse raised a bunch as well. And there were a bunch of YouTube donations, but YouTube won't let me see the number just yet, and also we got flagged for copyrights because NHL 20 has music in it. And yes, the amount of money that we raised is going to be matched. I just just don't know the official total yet. So it might come out to like $30,000 that we raised yesterday. And that is all going to Easter seals. I really don't know what else to tell you. I know I ask too much of you. I know I ask about this too much. I know it's annoying. It means a lot to me, and you're genuinely doing good and changing lives. Like, you've donated a life-changing amount of money, and thank you. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that the Leafs are going to come up big on Tuesday against LA. If you still want to donate to Easter Seals, I'm still collecting until at least November 14th. Link down below. I got a Movember space going. Oh god, it just looks so disgusting. Link for that down below. And you know what? The Marner jar is still a thing for Sick Kids Hospital. Link down below. And if you want to buy my book or stupid merch, whatever, donate to good causes first.